Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Glenn Griffin, Vice President, Digital Commerce Manager, and joining me is Jeff Marks, Cash Management Solutions Officer. We're coming to you again via Facebook Live. As I mentioned in our segment 2 weeks ago at 11 a.m., we had our Merchant Services program, which we kicked off our series. We will be coming live every other Tuesday, going right through December 22nd. Today, we are kicking off our Positive Pay program, which is a great fraud protection and detection tool for our business customers. Again, we have a great series to share with you. I'll just tease a couple of those upcoming dates as well. On October 13th, Juliet St. Clair joins me, and we are going to discuss our online wire program. And then 2 weeks after that, on October the 27th at 11 a.m., which is another Tuesday, Kim Hamlin will be back and joining me for our automated clearinghouse payments, which is our ACH program. And you can collect dues and send payments electronically with ACH. So again, as you've seen with our other First National Bank Facebook Live series, please ask questions and comments throughout the video. Again, we want to thank everyone who takes the time and joins us live, as well as who views the video afterward as well. So again, we'll try to do everything we can to answer your questions today. Keep in mind, as we're going through our series, if you saw the Merchant Services video and you have questions about that or any other of our business solutions, you can reach us for questions, again, via the comment section, and you can call us at 800-564-3195, and that extension is 2777 to reach us via the phone. You can email us at digitalcommerce@thefirst.com, and of course, visit any of our branches or visit our website. So we look forward to hearing from you. And again, as I mentioned today, we're going to dig into our Positive Pay program, and please ask questions and comments throughout. I will, at this point, hand it over to Jeff, and he'll dig into the details a little bit, and we'll see if we can have a conversation to share about our Positive Pay program. And Jeff, please reintroduce yourself.
All right, thank you, Glenn. My name is Jeff Marks, and I'm a cash management officer with First National Bank. Been with the bank for about 8 years now. So Positive Pay is a great tool to try to prevent fraud and just overall have a better management of items that would be coming into your checking account or checking accounts with us. I think basically the main part of Positive Pay is our Check Positive Pay, and it kind of works in one of two ways. Essentially, we add a section onto your online banking where each day you can go in and view any checks that are coming out of your account. So any checks that you have written, and that gives you the ability to, view them and make sure that, those are legit checks, or those are checks that you actually written before they are officially taken out of your account. So we offer two options of Positive Pay. The first is where you will review any check coming out of your account. So I usually find that that's the better option unless you're a very high volume check writer. If you have, for example, if you have an accounts payable department that's issuing 40 to 50 checks a week, it might not be the best option. But, if you have a lower check volume, it's a pretty good process where each day you can log into our online banking by 11 a.m. You can get in there and see each check and then make a decision whether to pay or return those. And later on in this presentation, we'll show you some screenshots and pictures of how that looks. And then the other option for your Check Positive Pay, if you're higher volume, is you can upload what we call an issue file, and that essentially lets the bank know to be expecting these checks, this check number with this dollar amount to be coming out of your account, and you will only see checks for review on your online banking if there's any exceptions or if there's any checks coming through that, any checks coming through that don't match checks in your issue file.
Excellent. And Jeff, I just wanted to jump in as well and share a stat that that I found. According to the National Check Fraud Center, fraudulent checks account for more than $10 billion in losses every year. And this figure has been steadily increasing. And as we know, across businesses and consumers, fraudsters are getting more, great at whether it be, fraudulent checks or any other, fraud. So, this is a great program to be able to manage that, protect your business. And it's something that we can set up, pretty quickly for you as well. And we try to keep it very easy and efficient for your business. We did have a question that came in, Jeff. If we don't have a Positive Pay account set up, how long does it take to set it up? And Jeff, if you want to answer that one.
Sure. So if you are interested in getting Positive Pay set up, the best thing you can do is contact, obviously our department of digital commerce. And it's a pretty simple process. We would just have you fill out some paperwork and, have a discussion on what products or, what configuration would be best for you. And then once we receive the completed paperwork back, it's, honestly, usually within a couple hours, within a day at the most, we can get you set up and then, show you how to use it and everything. And it's, a pretty simple process overall.
Yeah, and I'll just add that it's an option in online banking. So those of you who do have, whether it be the consumer online banking or certainly in this case, the business online banking, it's an extra tab there. It's pretty easy to manage and work through, to Jeff's point. And we can certainly, turn that around pretty quickly, as we'll discuss more of our products and our services here with our team. And we do try to be efficient and turn things around quickly because we know how valuable your time is and how important it is, especially when it comes to fraud protection and detection as well. We got one more question, Jeff. This individual said they've been debating whether to get Positive Pay or not. What considerations should they be aware of? And I'll just take this one and then you can add anything you want, Jeff. But I would say, again, you just need to set the time aside. So it's a great fraud protection tool for any checks that come in against your account. Keep in mind, we do have most of our customers that can get in there, pop in. They don't have a whole lot of checks, and maybe there's a handful. They decision those by 11 a.m. and that's fine. If you don't decision by 11, they're going to get paid anyway. So keep that in mind. And then, as Jeff said earlier, if you do have a large volume of checks, you can upload that and any exceptions will pop out. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but is setting a few minutes of time aside every day to manage this is definitely worth, from a fraud standpoint.
Yeah, and I think something I'll add on to that, Glenn, is, if you are a larger organization, we have some municipalities that use our Positive Pay where they, upload an issue file each time they do accounts payable. And something we can do is, we can set up, somewhat in-depth permissions where one person, might only have the ability to upload a file and then someone else, would only have the ability to go in and review checks. So that can kind of be, good layer of security as well.
Yeah, it's a great point on the dual control, because that way you do have your duties, separated as well from that standpoint. Good point, Jeff.
Great. So like I said, now we're just going to kind of go through some screenshots and was going to kind of show, how the process would look. If you're going to go in the morning, review your checks and those types of things. So if we could see the first screenshot, please. Great. So essentially, if you go in, let's say you get in the office in the morning and you log into your online banking like you usually do, and once you enrolled for Positive Pay, you would see this here where you click on your Cash Manager tab, and you would see an ARP tab, and you have a few options below there. So if you log in the morning, we would see that this morning there's 3 checks coming in, and you'll see that it gives you the check number for each one, where you see the 457, and then the next column with the paid amount. And then the reason here says not issued, and that's because there's no issue file that was issued for these. So essentially, you would see that, these 3 checks for some reason are showing up as exceptions. So I want to take a look at them and see, whether I want to pay or return them. So if you go on to the next slide, please. So just kind of looking here a little bit more, a little bit closer. So like I said, the reason here is not issued. Other reasons could be amount mismatch. If you were uploading a file, let's say like the check number was correct. So it's like, oh, I remember, issuing check, number 7 there at the bottom, but it should have been for $10 instead of $1. So, let's see what's going on or something like that. Another reason that you could have another reason that could pop up would be if it's stale dated. So if you have the issue date in there from when you uploaded a file and then it, came in more than 6 months, it would give you a chance to see that check and decide whether you want to pay or return it since it's older than 6 months old. So if we go on to the next slide here. So if you click on that check number, it will give you the ability to view your checks. So I think it's just a good tool to kind of see. So, you can see the front of the check. And then if you go on to the next slide we have here, it'll just show you the back of the check. So that way, any that's coming in, you can view it before you want to make a decision. So if we go on to the next one, please. So you'll see here that once you make your selections, so we chose to pay all 3, you would then click submit there, and then you'll get, just kind of a confirmation message up there. And it doesn't lock until 11 a.m., so it's probably rare, but if, you had a certain reason where you decision these at 9 a.m. and then you realize that you need to make a change, even though you submitted it, you do have until 11 a.m. to, make a change if you need to. And then we jump into the next slide, please. And so do we have one more slide? Great. So the other type of positive pay that we offer is ACH positive pay. So this is actually something newer that, we've started offering, and, we found that it's been successful. So I think the most common way that, we see people using ACH positive pay is what we have here. So if you see that column over where the exception reason says debits not allowed, essentially we can set it up where any ACH debits coming into your account, you'll have the ability to review them and decide whether you want them to be paid. So whether you want them, successfully taken out of your account, or whether you want them returned for any reason. So you'll see here that, it gives you the issuing company. So, this is First National Bank if you're texting them, but it could say, like your credit card provider, it could say some bill that you have like CMP. Essentially you'd see, oh, I have a debit coming in from CMP. And then it gives you the description as well and the amount. So then you have the ability to pay or return. So, this wouldn't have an issue file or anything like that, but, we've just found that it's a good way to try to limit fraud in case you have concerns about any, fraudulent ACH debits coming into your account. So I think we're all set. Thank you.
Great. Hey, Jeff, when we're talking about the check positive pay, what are the key fields that we typically see?
Sure. So if we're looking at check positive pay, I'd say the key fields are obviously the amount. Make sure the amount's correct. Then you have the check number, and then you have the issue date. The issue date's only going to show up if you're uploading a file. And then it will kind of, like I said, just make sure that it's within 6 months, so the check's not stale dated.
Right. Okay. Now we do have a couple of questions that have come in. What are the benefits of using positive pay? And I think, again, we've touched on some of those. They've also added reverse positive pay. And again, I would just, give a couple of thoughts on that. The benefits of positive pay in my mind are it gives you control over your checkbook, your business checkbook. So it stops any fraudsters from creating fake checks and clearing those through from on the check side. So again, it's not a lot of time. It's an easy setup from our group, And again, it's just an extra tab in your online banking, something you can get into the habit of doing every day. Shouldn't take too long unless you have a massive amount of checks, and you're not going to have many exceptions even if you do. So again, it's a pretty efficient way to manage your checkbook and control your money and stop fraud. And then on the ACH side, to Jeff's point a moment ago with the slide, is we can set that up so that every debit that comes into the account is halted until you see it. So again, it gives you that control, that fraud protection, and it really stops the fraudsters at the gate, so to speak. That's my thoughts on it. Anything to add, Jeff?
I don't think so. Honestly, I think you summarized it pretty well. So.
And then, are there any liabilities of using Positive Pay? You want to take that one?
Sure. So I honestly don't really think there are any liabilities per se. I mean, I think the biggest thing, I'm not sure if it's a liability or not, to be honest, but I just think, the biggest thing to keep in mind is that, as Glenn touched upon earlier, is that you really, just want to make sure that, you get in there by 11 a.m. each day to take a look at things. Because if you don't, obviously, we'll do everything in our power to help you, but, those items will automatically be paid. And obviously, we can assist with things after the fact, but I just think, that's probably the biggest thing to keep in mind. So
another question just came in, and I think we've touched on this, but certainly it's probably the biggest point we're going to make today. Can this help my business avoid fraud? And again, if you think about how you manage your checkbook, your business checkbook, whether it be checks or automatic debits coming in through the clearinghouse, again, it stops the fraudsters at the gate, assuming you put a few minutes of time in every day. And again, I don't think when you take a step back that's too much to ask. And I think the online banking as well as the process is pretty quick as well. So again, it's little time to put in to really avoid any huge losses that you might see from a fraudster. And then we got another one, Jeff. It says, what happens if someone's check is bad? How will I know? How is it resolved? And I think maybe they're speaking about if somebody's check isn't on our list. So you want to take that one?
Sure. So we're saying if the check doesn't come in on the Positive Pay?
So what happens if somebody's check is flagged? How does that work? How will they know, and how would they resolve that?
Sure. So if the check is flagged, it will show up on your online banking on the Positive Pay, and then you would have the opportunity to review it. So.
And then I'll reiterate just what our team does as well, Jeff. And I think we have a great online banking and the Positive Pay system. But of course, if you need any individual help or there is a question or concern, then you have the support of our team here for sure, to make that easier for everybody. We'll pause at this moment. Does anybody else have any questions or comments about the Positive Pay program, whether it be on the check side or the ACH side? And we did have one more. It says, is there any special software needed for Positive Pay? And again, I would just say it's contact our team here in digital commerce at the Burst, and we're happy to get a little bit of paperwork together for you to get this added. And then again, it's just the business online banking. It's another tab. You're just going to click on it, and then we're going to work through the process with you. And that's going to be no special software, just an additional tab for your online banking that you can get used to. And we do have a couple of guides to help you with that as well. And we had another one. What are exceptions? And I'll speak to this just a little bit, Jeff, and then kick it to you. But exceptions can be anything from the check number, the amount, the date issued. I mean, there are multiple details surrounding the checks rather. But again, I would say probably the check number and the amount of the two key components, Jeff. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would agree. And just to make it clear, the exception reason is only going to occur if you are uploading a file. If we have it set up where you're just quickly reviewing every check that's coming in, you won't really have an exception reason because you're just going to be looking at each check. Right? think you're correct, Lynn. Those are essentially the exceptional reasons you would have if you were uploading a file.
And then we've got a couple more that have come in. What are the time requirements, and what is the submission on a daily basis, and what time is that, and what if I miss that? And again, I know we've talked about it multiple times, but just to reiterate that point, 11 a.m. is the cutoff. So again, we can have it set so that only exceptions are flagged, so you have to decision those, or you can decision all of them. But again, that cutoff is 11 a.m. And then once 11 a.m. hits, they would be paid. And so that's really, again, from a business standpoint, how do you get that time built in prior to 11 a.m.? And then we had one that says, can I run my own reports on this for reconciliation, or do I have to go to the bank? And Jeff, do you want that one?
Sure. So, I think the way that I see it most commonly done is, there is a reporting aspect of positive pay in the online banking, in that same section where you go to look at those checks to decision them. There's a reporting tab as well. And, there's some different reports that you can pull. I know you can pull, I think the most common one, if you're a larger business, you are uploading an issue file when you do accounts payable, is that, you can pull an outstanding item report, which I know people can find handy. And I know that can integrate into your software like Trio or QuickBooks or something like that. And then there's, of course, some other reports as well. And, we could obviously go over those with you if you wanted to see what you're looking for. So.
Great. Well, excellent, everybody. We do really want to just thank everybody for joining us again today in our second segment of our Facebook series. And again, we'd love to have a conversation with you, whether it be about merchant services, about Positive Pay, which we spoke about today, or any of our other products. And certainly want to help deter any fraudsters out there. So Positive Pay can definitely do that. Again, to recap on the ACH as well as the check side. And it can be handled pretty easily and pretty efficiently without a lot of time from the business owner. And to recap, I'm Glenn Griffin, and I've been joined by Jeff Marks. You can call us at 800-564-3195. Extension is 2777. And you can certainly email us at digitalcommerce@thefirst.com. Please visit our branches, our website. We're always happy to have a conversation and see what we can do to help you. Again, I'll flag our next one, which our next session is October the 13th, Tuesday, 11 a.m., where Juliet St. Clair will join me to discuss online wires. But again, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.